Greetings and welcome to our daily walk through the scriptures for October the 25th. Your readings today find you Jeremiah chapter 49, starting in verse 23, finishing out that chapter, and then reading Jeremiah chapter 50. You're almost to the end of Jeremiah. We're wrapping it up. Then you've got Titus chapter 1, which we're going to be talking about today, and Psalm 97. But don't forget to read Psalm 98 also. And then Proverbs chapter 26, verses 13 through 16. So we are introducing Titus today. So we're going to talk about this guy for a little bit. Now, Titus is the letter of Titus was written to Titus, who was a Gentile convert Christian. And he was really one of Paul's loyal ambassadors, messengers, representatives. In other words, he had authority to speak for Paul. And Titus was originally from Greece, as we learn in Galatians, and now he is Paul's representative in this letter writing at the island of Crete. Now we know that Paul visited Crete at least once. It's possible that he did it twice, and that this letter was written in between the two Timothy letters. Titus is a pastoral letter, meaning that it is set up and designed to, once just like the Timothys, to carry out some governmental responsibilities of the church. In other words, how is the church going to run and how is the church going to operate? What is it going to look like? And so he spends some time talking about the setting up of elders and those kind of things. So Titus is a short letter, but it's a very important letter in church life because it does, like I said, kind of show us how we are supposed to have church leaders. It unpacks eldership a little bit more. So you take what's seen in 1 Timothy and what's read in Titus, and we get a clear picture as to what the job of an elder is. You're also going to see some encouragement against false teaching in Titus, and you're going to see that things must have been a little disorganized on the island, and that's why Titus was left to do the job, and he was given a big job. Apparently, there were a number of Christians, and there were a number of towns and cities on the island of Crete, and it was Titus's job to organize those things. That's why he says in verse 5, the reason I left you in Crete was that you might put in order what was left unfinished and appoint elders in every town as I directed you. And then he uses the words elders and overseers in this. Just so you know, elder and overseer, those are synonymous words. Whenever you see those words in Scripture, they mean the same thing. Just like pastor and elder also mean the same thing. So if you see any of those three words, pastor, elder, overseer, know that they're talking about the same person. So some churches might call them overseers, some churches call them elders, some churches call them pastors. Know that they're all getting it from that same idea. Okay? And so Paul is trying to encourage Titus. He apparently, like I said, he's got a daunting job. I mean, Crete doesn't exactly have a great reputation, as he says in verse 12. One of Crete's own prophets has said, Cretans are always liars, evil brutes, and lazy gluttons. You've ever heard the term Cretan before? It's not a good term. It's not a nice term. So a Cretan is this person, a liar, a brute, a glutton. They're less than. And so Titus was there to kind of set things up. Now, we don't know a whole lot about Titus as the person, though tradition says that he actually did go back to the island of Crete and became a pretty significant leader there. And as a matter of fact, his successor spoke highly of Titus, and he said really some wonderful things about it. He talked about the guy by the name, his name was, let's see, what was his name? I don't know. It was really Andreas Cretensis. How's that for a name? I had to find it because I found it fascinating. He talked about him being the first foundation stone of the Cretan church, the pillar of truth, the stayer of faith, the never silent trumpet of the evangelical message, and the exalted echo of Paul's own voice. So apparently, the mission that we see here in Titus carried out with great faithfulness and did a wonderful job and left an incredible legacy. Okay, so let's get into this book, and we'll start diving into that, and we'll finish up Jeremiah tomorrow.